Hello everybody. I really wanted to spend a bit of time thinking about this, whether I had any right to make this video in the first place, whether I'd be able to give it enough justice. However, I've come to the decision that I should really say something, even if it just makes things clear in my own head. Today's video is about mental health, specifically about getting help. I've recently gone through this whole process myself, which is why I'm talking about this now, because I'm so grateful a friend of mine encouraged me to get help. If you've clicked on this video, then it's likely you're at least curious about your own mental well-being, and if you are worried about it, I would highly recommend you get the ball rolling with this first and hardest step of this whole process, which is starting to talk to people about that. Some of you may feel like you don't deserve help, that you're wasting other people's time, or maybe that you feel like you're wasting your own time. Perhaps you feel that other people's problems are greater than your own, and that burdening them with your problems is wrong. Right, there's an important difference between talking to someone and expecting them to fix all of your problems. If you're not expecting that, then no, you are not being a burden. For those suffering with their own mental health problems, feeling like they've helped someone is really positive, so that's an important point to note. Also, every single case of poor mental health is different. No one is going to understand immediately, and it's going to be exhausting explaining it to them. If you're speaking about the thoughts you're having and think, what the hell am I talking about? I have no reason to think like this, then you're probably doing it right. Mental health is not logical, and it is not clean. If you could explain to someone who is unfortunate enough to suffer from anorexia that food is simply good for them, or tell someone suffering from clinical depression that they should just lighten up, then their lives would be a whole lot more simple, and I wouldn't be making this video. Okay, so what happens then? You've told one of your closest friends, so they're made aware of it. It's unlikely you've told them everything off the bat, but you're making progress. Well, do you feel better? If so, that's probably the best possible scenario. If not, there's a few things that may happen. If you are living with your parent or guardian, it may be time to say something to them. And I'm going to leave a pause there to let that thought sink in a bit, because that's a big one. The important thing is they will want to help. And if you're not independent, then life will be a whole lot more easy with them in the know about what's going on. Now, if you do not feel safe telling your parents, now that is a different issue. And I'd highly recommend getting in touch with social services, which I will copy in the description below. Talking to family is tough. No conversation will ever be easy, and easing them into the idea gradually might be the best way to do it. Now, if things are not improving, if you are scared for your health or the thoughts you are having, then it is time you see a medical professional. If you skip to this step, remember that a lot of GPs and psychiatrists will advise you to speak to family and friends about it, so be ready for that. It's important that you try to tell them as much as possible. I found it easier to speak to my friends first, so I got to grips with saying things aloud and knowing how to phrase things so I didn't miss important details out. But remember, they'll ask a lot of important questions too, so don't panic about being misunderstood. It takes years of training to become a medical professional, and even more to become a general practitioner or psychiatrist, so I won't pretend like I know what they're going to do next. So all I can really do is lend my own experience. Okay, so here is a brief timeline of what happened with me. Maybe you'll find it useful. I live in England, Cumbria, and I am 17 years old, so I fall in the child-adolescence category of mental health. Okay, so after speaking with my friends, my mum, and the school counsellor over about a month, I was strongly advised to go see a GP. The following day I was put in touch with the crisis team for the South Lakes, who then organised a meeting with a person from CAMS, which is the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service in the UK. That was 4 days later. That person I saw then made an appointment with me to see the psychiatrist 5 days later. The psychiatrist then prescribed me melatonin to help with sleeping and an antidepressant, in combination with CBT sessions, cognitive behavioural therapy. Overall, I was incredibly impressed by the response of all these people, which is why I'm so keen to encourage others to get help. I'm aware that I might have been incredibly lucky with the people I was put in touch with, but I don't think it devalues the importance of getting help when you need it. Ultimately, it saved my life. I'm putting the UK mental health support numbers in the description below, as well as the American and Canadian ones, as they're my main demographics. For those of you who live in different parts of the world, feel free to comment the mental health contact numbers down below, and I will pin them. Remember, you are not weak for asking for help, and most importantly, you do deserve it. Thank you.